Okay, the first of a couple R&R episodes I've had planned here for a little while. I told some people I'd be making these in the comment section. Um, First of all, and there was a lot of talk about all this with the last videos I did showing the pictures that I make and whatnot. And the story of digital productions I've made. And that remember this guy thread from that forum website. There's a lot of talk. Somebody posted the brianspage.com, the homepage, the text message that's on there. And we had talked a lot about this website in the past. I mean, that's really what a lot of people's first experience with all this is. I remember finding this website back in probably like 2002, probably like 15 years ago, somewhere around there. Back when movies like The Transporter and TV series like VIP were new back then. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the text here on the main brianspage.com. You skip to the middle part here. The mainstream scenes just have a certain je ne sais quoi for us that the commercial tapes can't capture. Perhaps it's missed the S there. Perhaps it's the thrill of seeing a famous actress in a scene or the improvement that their acting skills has on the scene. I think it is largely due to the accidental nature of the bondage scene found in a TV show or movie. In some way, it feels like you've made a capture of our own. You've made a capture of your own. Rather than being handed the scene. I didn't think this thing had that many typos on it. Well, this thing's been here for about 15 years at least. It's this is a good website with a lot of resources. Then at the end here, that being said, it's not about violence or degradation of women. Well, okay, so this middle part here. The mainstream scenes just have a certain je ne sais quoi for us that the commercial tapes can't capture. Okay, let me go ahead and solve this mystery, solve this riddle as to what is actually happening here and why people would much rather watch these scenes than commercial tapes. Commercial tapes are just soft porn. That's all they are. We've all seen these. They're not really damsel in distress productions. They're just soft porn. People who actually like this genre and like these scenes, probably for the most part, don't even bother watching those. I've seen some. I've very rarely seen a good one that's worth watching. There's only like two off the top of my head I can even think of all the commercial tapes that have been posted around that I'd ever seen that were even worth a watch. As I said before, and this is going to tie into the next video I do as well. For the most part, it's just soft porn and there's nothing worth seeing. And I'm going to explain why these are so worthless, all of these. It's not that the mainstream scenes have a certain thing you can't pinpoint or whatnot. The fact is that the difference between a mainstream scene and a commercial scene is that one of them actually required skill to make and one of them did not. Anybody with a willing participant, a camera, and a roll of duct tape can make a commercial bondage video. I assure you. Anybody can do it. They can make a 25-minute one in 30 minutes. It takes absolutely no skill to make something like that. Don't believe me? I know from experience because I made that duct tape challenge video. And all the duct tape challenge videos are basically just commercial fetish videos. That's basically all they are without the nudity. These take no skill to make. The very first video I uploaded was the duct tape challenge with Sasha. I set the camera up, I turned it on, I taped her up, and I left the fucking room. If you can leave the room while making that, then yeah, it doesn't take any skill, and that is no different than any commercial fetish video, any commercial bondage video. They're the exact same. They require no skill whatsoever. You can basically leave the room. I went in the other room and started setting up the YouTube channel while she was squirming, while I was filming that. You know, just no skill. There's nothing to make anybody want to watch them. Anybody can make one. The thrill of seeing a famous actress, sure, that's always a plus, especially if it's an actress you've had a crush on for a long time, and then you finally get to see something. But that's not why people like them. Also, the mainstream scenes have a point. That's the whole thing. There's a story and something that there's a point to them. There's a reason to watch them. You actually know who the characters are. You know, there's a reason that person is tied up, and that's why you watch. That's what makes it worth watching. There's no reason that any of these women in these commercial fetish videos are tied up. There's no reason at all, other than they're being tied up to be tied up and filmed. There's no story behind it. There's absolutely no point to watching these. And this is why they're not very popular. And I don't know why anybody would pay for any of these. But yeah. So there's a huge separation between a real DID scene and a commercial bondage scene. And you can tell them instantly just by looking at them. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with production quality normally. I mean, you could make a good DID production on a shit budget, like I did with my two. You know, I filmed them in a day. Anyone who's seen the Ambush production knows that it's head and shoulders above any commercial video out there, that it's not a commercial video, that it's a little short film production that's, you know, on a different level than those, and that's why people pay for it. So it's not, you don't have to have a big budget, and it doesn't have to look like it came out of Hollywood. That's not the point. Point is you can tell when somebody's made a real production that's a real damsel in distress production, or with a real damsel in distress scene, versus just some commercial fetish video. You can tell the difference easily, just like that. There's no question about it. So, yeah. One of them requires skill, one of them does not. And as with anything, you can see work people have put into something and work that they haven't. So that's why people like these. That's why people want to see the elaborate kidnapping scenes with Alicia Cuthbert in 24, or the awesome fire struggle with Jessica Alba and Flipper. You know, things like that are real scenes, which are, again, all the same things I created my digital productions. That's the difference between mine and any other writing that people have out there. Anyone else that's making DID stories and putting them out there, for the most part, these are just commercial fetish videos put into words. I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference between what I'm making and what everyone else is doing. That's what separates me and separates this brand from everybody else. So yeah, that's... And I would assume most of you guys already know this. I mean, I'm not dropping any you know, this isn't a brain buster here. I mean, it's pretty obvious to figure out. So, yeah, that's the difference between the two. I guess I could probably specify maybe a little more of a difference, but I'm going to save that for this next video. So, I don't know when I'm going to put that out. Probably a couple days. So, that's what we got for this one. Thanks, guys.